Want a skirt that's twirly, layer friendly, perfect for parties and everyday wear? This playful suspender skirt does it all. Hey guys, I'm T, maker of 600 plus patterns and tutorials. Welcome to the channel. Today's tutorial is all about a playful suspender skirt that you can dress up for the holidays or wear any time of the year. It's stretchy at the waistband, twirly at the hem, and easy to customize with your favorite colors, neutrals, brights, or full holiday mode. If you're new here, welcome. I share fun and festive crochet content every Sunday and Wednesday, so tell a friend, tap the bell, and subscribe so you never miss an upload. And if you enjoy the video, give it a big thumbs up or 2 thumbs down if you don't. Either way, it helps keep these tutorials free. Any category 4 yarn will work. I used red and white for a holiday twist with 560 grams, 1,030 yards if you're stateside. You'll need a 5mm hook for the waistband and suspenders, and a 6 for the skirt. Pattern link below, use code TCDDIY for a discount on orders over $9.99. Stay to the end for this week's pattern giveaway. We're using basic stitches for this project. They're all on screen now, pause to check it out, and don't worry if you're new to crochet, I'll walk you through each one step by step. So without further ado, here's how to crochet your own suspender holiday skirt. Let's kick things off with the waistband. It's thick, stretchy, and sits from under bust to waist for that vintage silhouette. We're all going to grab our category 4 yarn, make a slip knot. Then grab our 5mm hook. We're going to start with the foundation half double crochet row in your main color. We're using red. This is going to set the height of the band. Start with a chain 3. Then into the first chain that we made, underneath that front loop and back bump, we're going to yarn over and insert our hook underneath those 2 loops, giving us 2 strands on our hook plus those 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through just the 2 strands first to get 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through that first loop to form the chain that we're going to work into next. Then yarn over, half double crochet per usual, so pull through all 3. That is our first foundation half double crochet. To do the next, yarn over. In through that chain that we made underneath those 2 loops, yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through the first always to form that chain, then half double per usual. Now, if you've never tried foundation stitches before, this is a great time to start. There's no chaining, no guesswork, and a bonus, you get 2 loops at the end to work into when we seam it later. Now my waistband is already done. I needed a height of 5 inches or 13 centimeters, so I made a foundation half double crochet row of 25. Now let's do the next row with a small sample size. With the full height of our waistband, we're going to chain 1, flip our work, and do a back loop slip stitch row. Finding that first stitch, insert into that back loop, yarn over, pull through everything. Again, next stitch is back loop, pull through everything. Work 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch, making sure that we're not tugging too tightly, because the falling row could be a little too tight to work into if we do. Then at the end of the back loop slip stitch row, chain 2, flip our work, and now work a back loop half double crochet row so that we can get that really fine ribbing. Keep repeating these 2 rows until the band can stretch comfortably around our hips, ending on a row count that's in multiples of 8. Now not your waist, your hips. We want it to slide on easily, so give it a little tug test as you go. And if you're in between sizes, go up a size, then I'll share a tip with you guys later on how to cinch it in. My waistband ended up being a total of 88 rows, and this width is just about 19.5 inches or 50 centimeters unstretched. Now we're going to seam everything together. So making sure that the ribbing is faced in on each other, we're going to fold our waistband in half. Then we're going to work a single crochet seam. So place your hook into the corner stitches. So we're going to pull through and start with a chain 1. We're just going to single crochet into both panels at the same time. So into that first stitch into the front panel, insert, first stitch into the back panel, insert, and single crochet. Again, next stitch into the front, next stitch into the back, single, and just keep singling both of our panels together. Our waistband is seamed, and before we move on to the skirt, we're going to need to clean up the edge with the waistband with a quick single crochet row. All this is going to be is 1 single crochet into 1 side slip stitch row, 2 single crochet into the side half. So everyone's first side row should be a side slip stitch row. Find that top loop, insert with a single. Next top loop, which should be a side half, insert with 2. Now this single crochet row is going to be as wide as the waistband is going to be able to stretch. So when it's completed, try a piece on, making sure that it's fitting nicely. If it's a little too tight, we do some stitches with a looser grip, or if it's too loose, we do some stitches with a tighter grip. This is going to give us a clean edge and a solid base to start building the skirt off of. And make sure at the very end you're pausing so that you count your stitches. We should all have a stitch count that ends in multiples of 12. Single crochet row, nearly complete. Now just to close off the row together, into that chain 1 space that we made before we got started on the row, we're going to insert. Yarn over and pull through everything on our hook. And now we're going to prep for the chevron. We're going to insert our hook in through that chain space that we made. Go ahead and place your secondary color yarn on your hook, which mine is white. This next row is going to be all about texture and shaping, and it's going to be the same no matter what size we're making. We're going to be working a repeat of 12 stitches across the row. We're going to start with a chain 3, but that's just a turning chain, doesn't actually count as a stitch. Then 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 double, into that next stitch with a 2nd double. Then 1 half double into the next 3 stitches. Then 1 single into each of the next 3 stitches. After those 3 singles, 1 half double into each of the next 3 stitches again. Then to complete the 12 stitches, 1 double crochet. So counting that out, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Keep repeating 2 doubles, 3 half doubles, 3 singles, 3 half, and 1 double all the way around. We've worked our way around with our chevron prep row. Yes, I am using the skein as a background, just so you guys can see the peaks and valleys a little bit better. Now we're going to have to close off the row and switch out our hook. So count up those 3 chains that we made, slip stitch into that 3rd chain. Yarn over. We are going to switch out to our 6mm hook to get maximum flow, but still maintaining the structure. And now we're just going to build the chevron shape that gives the skirt its signature twirl. And we're all going to start with a chain 3. Working in the same direction as our previous, we're starting with a half an increase, so begin with 2 back loop double crochets into that 1st stitch. We're going to place a stitch marker into that very 1st stitch. That's going to mark the beginning of the row and the start of our 1st peak. Now the full repeat we're going to work across the row is 4 back loop doubles, then a decrease 3 back loop doubles. That's going to create the valley. So yarn over into that next stitch's back loop, pull through, next stitch's back loop, pull through, next stitch's back loop, pull through to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 4, yarn over, pull through 2, pop a stitch marker into the center of that decrease. We want to make sure that we're tracking that shaping. Then 4 back loop double crochets again. Then we're all going to do an increase 3 back loop doubles. So into that next stitch, insert with 3 back loop doubles. And be sure to mark the middle stitch of that increase, and that's going to help us stay center for future rows. Now repeat the sequence of 4 back loop doubles, decrease, 4 back loop doubles, increase, all the way around. And we'll all meet back once we have 1 stitch left so I can show you how we're going to close off the row. Into that last stitch where we would typically do an increase 3 double crochets, we're just going to do 1 because remember we started with a half an increase over here. So just into that last stitch, close it with 1. We should have the same amount of stitches as our last row. Now to complete the row, slip stitch into that 3rd chain, pull through. Then we're going to chain 3 and working in the same direction as our last row, this is going to be an increase row. So instead of like the last row, we did an increase 2, we're now going to do an increase 3 because all these increases are going to be an increase 5 now. This is the half of an increase, and don't forget to insert your stitch marker into the top of that 1st stitch. Then 4 back loop doubles, which should lead us down to 1 stitch right before our decrease stitch. Then the same decrease 3 back loop doubles. After that decrease, back loop doubles. And now where we would typically do an increase 3, we're going to do an increase 5 because we want full flow. And into the middle of that increase 5, place your stitch marker into that middle stitch. And keep repeating 4 back loop doubles, decrease 3, 4 back loop doubles, increase 5 all the way around. And at the end of each of our increase rows, since we started with half the increase, we're going to end with half the increase. So our increases are supposed to be an increase 5. We started with an increase 3, so we're going to close off our increase rows with an increase 2 into that last stitch and close off the row by slip stitching into that third chain. If you're a visual learner, this is a great row to lay flat and admire. This is where the magic really starts to show. And from here on out, we're actually going to increase into every other row to build that full twirly shape. So just the flow for each of our rows. For our non-increase row, it's going to start with an increase 2 back loop doubles, 1 back loop double into every stitch until we have 1 stitch before our decrease stitch. Then our decrease. Then working up to the increase, 1 back loop double crochet into every stitch until we reach the stitch marker. Then when we do, an increase 3. And that's going to be the same work all the way around. Then for the increase row, pretty much the same idea, but instead of the increase 3, it's an increase 5. And that's pretty much it for the shaping. We're going to repeat these 2 rows until the skirt gets as full and as flowy as you want. Now just working into every other row, we'll keep increasing into the peaks, just like before, to build that dramatic twirl. So if you want a subtle flare, you're going to stop your increases early, but if you want full-on drama, keep going. And as for color, that's completely up to you as well. Switch out your yarn whenever you feel like it, so really every few rows, every section, or just once for bold contrast, that is completely up to you. Just remember this entire skirt is worked in the same direction so that the increases and decreases and color chains stack neatly right on top of each other. Now for my skirt, I did a total of 28 rows. That is not including that first single crochet row and that first prep row. I stopped increasing right after my 21st row, and I did my color change into every 7 rows. Now that the skirt's done, we're going to go ahead and try it on. We're going to make sure that everything is sitting where it wants to land once the whole thing's completed. Give a gentle tug right at the waistband just to double check the fit. If it feels a little too loose, don't worry, we've got a really quick trick for you. We're going to add just a hidden drawstring on the inside of the waistband. So just make a chain that's long enough to wrap comfortably around your hips, plus a little extra for tying. Then we're just going to weave it through the middle of the waistband on the inside, using the same yarn and hook that we did for the waistband. Once it's all in, tie it snug, and it's going to give you just that little extra cinch that you may want. Just remember that real support is going to come from the suspenders that's going to come up real soon. Now, if you love a good cinch moment too, this is going to be your secret weapon. Now, speaking of suspenders, if you remember, we made another suspender skirt not too long ago. It is equally as cute and super flowy too, where you can check that one out here if you want more inspo. But right now, the buttons. The buttons are super simple. That's completely up to you. I'm going to do 2 stacks of buttons on either side of my neck. I'm going to start by finding our 2 middle rows. Everyone's first middle row is going to be that side slip stitch row that's nearest to the waistband seam. Then find the halfway point. The halfway point from that slip stitch row is my 43rd row. Now it should be a slip stitch row for everyone. Then just space out the buttons wherever you would like. All I did was trace my collarbone all the way down into the waistband. Then found a slip stitch row because that's where we're going to be sewing in the buttons, and made sure I chose the same row on the other side of that middle row. My buttons are going to be placed on the 8th row away from my middle row, and that's going to be the middle row within the front and the back, because that's going to be where the strap is going to start. Now looking at the front, we're going to place our stitch markers where we want the buttons to sit. Counting from the base, I'd like for my button to sit within the 4th and the 15th stitch from the base. Then we're just going to sew it in using any technique that you want. Since I'm using shank buttons, all I'm going to do is use an eensy weensy hook and the same yarn that we use for the waistband and just tie that in real snug. And I did that for all 4 of my buttons. And now that the buttons are nice and secure, time for those cute little suspender straps. For the strap, we're all going to switch out to our 5mm hook. The stitch markers that we placed in the back, that's going to be the center of our strap. So we're just going to move a few side rows away from that stitch marker side row to do the width. I'm just going to place my hook into the outer edge of this next half double crochet row, then just work double crochet rows all the way up and over. So I'm going to start with a chain 3. That chain 3 doesn't count as a stitch. Working towards the stitch marker stitch, 2 double crochets into every side half, one double crochet into this side slip, then because I want it to be even, 2 double crochets on this next half double crochet as well. So kind of the same way that we stitched up that prep row when we did the waistband. Then for the rest of the strap, we're going to chain 3, flip our work, and we're going to work that double crochet row, no increases and no decreases, all the way up and over the shoulder and down to the base of the waistband so that we have enough space for the buttons. Now just try it on as you go so you can adjust the length to your body, making sure that we all end right after an odd number row. Now just remember that this width that we're working, we are going to add single crochets along the edge to clean it up, so it will be just a hair wider. And lastly, if you're worried about the button slits, no need to fret. Just the spaces in between our stitches is going to be where the buttons can slip into, so it's easily adjustable. My total strap length is 37 rows. This length is just about 20 inches or 51 centimeters. When we have one done, we're going to clean up an edge, so chain 1, flip our work, and working down the side of the strap, 2 single crochet in through every side double crochet row. When we made our way down, we're going to slip stitch into that next stitch into the base to secure everything down. Then another single crochet row on the other side, but since we want to show the front of the single crochet row, start with the hook in through the base of the waistband, then work your way out, again 2 single crochets in through every side double crochet row. And when one is done, repeat on the other side. And that is it. Your suspender skirt is officially ready to twirl in. The last thing we have to do is simply weave in all of our ends. And there you have it, your very own suspender holiday ready skirt. It's twirly, adjustable, and totally customizable for any season. I'm really excited about this one because it's totally got me in the holiday mood, and I can't wait to see yours. Now, if you make one, post it in our community tab or tag me on the socials. I would love to see your twirl. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What non-holiday color combo would you use for this skirt? Drop your answers in the comments down below. Now, don't forget, this week's pattern giveaway includes the Cozy Batwing Cardigan and Set Stitch Vest. To enter the pattern giveaway, let me know if you have any favorite holiday decoration. Mine would have to be an ornament that we've had forever, and it is just a simple snowflake. But I grew up somewhere that didn't snow, so it was really special because it was holographic and really cool. If you enjoyed this tutorial, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a pattern. We drop fresh content every Sunday and Wednesday. If you want more, find us on Instagram and TikTok at TCDDIY for behind the scenes, pattern sneak peeks, and daily crochet inspiration. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and crocheting with us today. Happy hooking, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!